Hello everyone and welcome to Farm Bureau's Voices of Agriculture. This week coming to you from the state of Mississippi. On the show this time, we have highlights from the Mississippi and American Farm Bureau conventions. We have a story about the Farm Families of Mississippi campaign and what's in store for 2014.
To influence public perception, a consistent, sustained communication program is required and should keep in focus the long-term goal of creating a positive public perception of agriculture in Mississippi.
And we have our cooking segment with home economist Nancy Freeman. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The safety of our food is something we take for granted, and there are inspections that guarantee the food we put on our dinner tables is safe. Always read country of origin labels to ensure that fish, seafood, or produce is grown in the U.S., preferably Mississippi.
The health of your family is important. Be an informed consumer. Be sure you purchase safe, nutritious food products.
The Farm Families of Mississippi, growing safe, nutritious food.
Nearly 650 Mississippi Farm Bureau members representing the state's 82 county farm bureaus took part in the three-day annual convention where, in addition to the election of officers and directors, the delegates adopted policy to guide the organization's efforts during 2014. Farm Bureau President Randy Knight, a cattle farmer from Pelahatchie, said Farm Bureau had a very successful year in all areas of interest, but particularly the legislative session.
Very instrumental in getting a livestock theft bill passed, a cottage food bill. Was able to strengthen our country of origin labeling to cut out some of the loopholes in our catfish industry. Was also very successful in helping assure some well-needed funding to Mississippi State and the research they do to provide the information and the research we need on the farm every day. Was also very instrumental in a food labeling law, and was just extremely good year in the legislature, and the reason we were so successful is because of you, our membership, who reached out to our senators and representatives and let them know the importance of issues that we had of big importance to Farm Bureau. So thank all you again.
This past year, Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves appointed President Knight to a transportation task force to examine Mississippi's deteriorating highway system. These failing roads and bridges have negatively impacted the state's farmers.
We're experiencing a lot of posted bridges, a lot of low-weight bridges, and a lot of closed bridges all across the state. Really kind of opened my eyes to the issue. We do have a lot of members that are being affected by this. We have members who are having to take their crops a long way out of the way to get them to market. We had a lot of discussion at our resolutions meeting, and we are in the process of putting together a transportation committee to look at that and come back before you folks next year and let you know what we found.
Another issue that Farm Bureau has been heavily involved in is the water issue in the Delta.
Farm Bureau has kind of went out on a limb and stuck our neck out to do what our members ask us to do and get a voluntary meter program in the Delta. We're now trying to get those implemented. So if you live in the Delta and you farm, we encourage you to get a meter put on. Let's get this voluntary program. If we get a voluntary program, get those numbers that they need, it's much better than having to get a mandatory program.
And on a good financial note, the delegate body was told that the Farm Bureau State Office Building mortgage was finally paid off, and a quick note burning was held. The market outlook for grains and livestock in 2014 was addressed by American Farm Bureau Deputy Chief Economist John Anderson.
I think we're going to continue to see grain prices remain under pressure from these large supplies we've talked about. Soybean market, again, a little more unsettled there because everybody's going to be watching to see what's going on with South America. As we get into the latter part of January and February, if the South American crop really looks like it's coming in big, we may see some pressure begin to build in that market. And I think that, on the row crop side, that's the main thing people need to look at. On the livestock side, we've got very good prices right now, really up and down the supply chain for cattle especially. That should continue as we continue to have very tight stocks of cattle, and that situation is going to take really 2 or 3 years to turn around. So we're looking for a strong market there. Poultry prices have been a little bit weak at the wholesale level over the last 6 weeks or so. I don't really think that's indicative of a problem in that market. Overall, we've got fairly tight meat supplies, and with an improving economy, we ought to have very good demand.
There were quite a few awards and contests at the convention. Commissioner of Agriculture and Commerce Cindy Hyde-Smith received the organization's highest honor, the Distinguished Service Award. Commissioner Hyde-Smith and her family live in Brookhaven and run a cattle farm. Elected to the Mississippi State Senate in 1999, Hyde Smith quickly became known as a passionate advocate of farmers and ranchers in Mississippi, serving as the chairman of the Ag Committee for 8 years and as an influential member of numerous other committees. Hyde Smith made Mississippi history in 2011 as the first woman ever to be elected Commissioner of Agriculture. The Excellence in Leadership Award went to Robert Narron of Bolivar County. Narron's family has been farming since the early 1900s. Robert began his farming career full-time in 1968. Throughout his life, Robert has been involved in helping agriculture, including working with U.S. Representative David Bowen to open the acreage control program on rice in the early 70s. This eventually allowed Bolivar County to become the largest rice-producing county in the state. The 2013 Ag Ambassador Award went to Julie White and Nelda Starks of Starkville. Julie is the County Extension Coordinator in Oktibbeha County, and Nelda is the County Farm Bureau Women's Chairman in Oktibbeha County. They are the co-coordinators of a program called Farmtastic. This week-long program gives third graders from all over the Golden Triangle area the opportunity to learn about the sources of their food, clothing, and other products. The Friend of Agriculture Award for the Mississippi Senate was presented to Senator Russell Jolly of Houston. Senator Jolly is Vice Chairman of the Senate Ag Committee and has worked hard with Farm Bureau on many issues, including livestock theft, immigration reform, and agritourism. The Friend of Agriculture Award for the Mississippi House of Representatives was presented to Representative Bill Pygott of Tylertown. Representative Pygott is the Vice Chairman of the House Ag Committee and was very instrumental in helping Farm Bureau pass several important bills, including the Cottage Food Bill. The Young Farmer Discussion Meet is a roundtable discussion of a predetermined topic. The participants' responsibility is to exchange ideas and information in an effort to solve a problem. Brandy Karish of Starkville won this year's discussion meet and represented Mississippi in the national discussion meet in San Antonio, Texas. Yazoo County row crop and cattle farmers Matt and Carrie Edgar were named as the Young Farmers and Ranchers Achievement Award winners. They were recognized for their farming innovations, leadership skills, and involvement in Farm Bureau and their community. A fourth-generation farmer, Matt says his granddaddy got him involved in Farm Bureau 14 years ago. Today, he serves as president of the Yazoo County Farm Bureau. Matt and Carrie represented Mississippi in the National YF&R Achievement Award competition in San Antonio. Reed and Kate Nevins of Columbus were named as winners of the Young Farmers and Ranchers Excellence in Agriculture Award. This award is presented to individuals or couples who do not have the majority of their income subject to normal production risks. Reed is the county coordinator for the Lowndes County Extension Service. Kate works at a local bank. The Nevins also farm. They grow produce and collect honey from their apiary to sell at local farmers markets. Their farm also serves as an outdoor classroom to teach children about the source of their food. The Nevins represented Mississippi in the Excellence in Ag competition in San Antonio. And finally, Colin Hutchison of Lee County was named Farm Bureau Ambassador for 2014. This program, coordinated through the Women's Department, identifies leaders who can use their advantages to tell the farm story. The ambassador will make selected appearances throughout the coming year on behalf of Agriculture and Farm Bureau. We'll have much more on this edition of Farm Bureau's Voices of Agriculture right after this time out. Stay with us.
Being a farmer means a long day and an even longer list of jobs to be done.
When people ask me why I'm a farmer, the answer is easy. I want to be one of the people that provides your family and mine with a good, safe food supply. My animals are a large investment to me and my family. It makes good business sense that they're healthy and well cared for. And it's the right thing to do.
The Farm Families of Mississippi, feeding Mississippi and the world.
Mississippi Farm Bureau's PR campaign for agriculture is entering its 5th year in 2014. Here's a preview of what to expect.
Since 2010, the Farm Families of Mississippi organization has been diligently working to connect with consumers to earn their trust in our American food production industry. More people than ever before are interested in learning more about where their food comes from and how it gets from farm to table. Together as the agricultural industry, we need to play a bigger role in the ongoing dialogue about the food and fiber that we produce. That's where the Farm Families of Mississippi organization comes in. This nonprofit organization has been formed to be the fundraising and distribution group for this effort. Farm Families of Mississippi is made up of ag organizations, businesses, and individuals that have joined together to help with this educational effort. This is a list of the partners so far. The goal of this effort is to implement a promotional campaign that reinforces a positive image of agriculture. Based on the results of surveys, the specific issues that the organization is working toward are the affordability and safety of food in America. Farmers are good stewards of the land. Buy American, read the label, and farmers take proper care of their animals. To influence public perception, a consistent, sustained communication program is required and should keep in focus the long-term goal of creating a positive public perception of agriculture in Mississippi. The key to the success of this initiative depends upon the collective involvement and support of all agricultural industry segments in Mississippi. Through the first 4 years of this campaign, we have produced TV spots that have played in major TV markets across the state: Jackson, Biloxi, Greenville, Hattiesburg, and Tupelo. Radio spots have run statewide on the Super Talk Radio network. Billboards and banners have been placed in strategic locations to maximize visibility. Farm Families of Mississippi is also the presenting sponsor of Eat Jackson, an online insider guide to food in the Jackson area. We've also been involved in events where we can promote agriculture, like Mississippi Braves baseball, the Health and Fitness Expo held at the Trade Mart in Jackson. Additionally, cooking segments have been produced that promote healthy recipes using Mississippi products. These segments are hosted by a retired extension home economist and offer many facts about Mississippi agriculture while presenting a tasty dish. Also, several farm-to-table dinners have been held across the state, honoring farmers for their contribution to the restaurant menu, while at the same time donating parts of the profits to the Farm Family campaign. Teaching the public about the benefits of agriculture is the foundation of the Farm Families of Mississippi organization. To help spur that along, a new display designed and paid for by Farm Families of Mississippi is now open at the Mississippi Ag and Forestry Museum in Jackson. This 30-foot wide display highlights many different areas of agriculture in a colorful panorama. There are 3 kiosks that allow museum visitors to delve further into the subjects depicted on the wall. 2 of the kiosks contain an iBook that chronicle many of the basics of agriculture. There are 21 videos in the book and many eye-catching graphics and charts. The center kiosk is a game console that features 16 computer games that teach kids and adults about agriculture. Here is just a sample of the TV spots that will be airing during this campaign.
The safety of our food is something we take for granted, and there are inspections that guarantee the food we put on our dinner tables is safe. Always read country of origin labels to ensure that fish, seafood, or produce is grown in the U.S., preferably Mississippi.
The health of your family is important. Be an informed consumer. Be sure you purchase safe, nutritious food products.
The Farm Families of Mississippi, growing safe, nutritious food. Farming is just like every other industry, evolving and changing to incorporate technology. A clean, climate-controlled environment, including automated feeding and water, assures that animals are healthy and well cared for. Improved seeds that are disease and insect resistant produce a higher per acre yield, meaning that fewer chemicals are used than in the past. The Farm Families of Mississippi, valuing tradition while incorporating smart practices.
So, do you have a vested interest in Mississippi agriculture? You bet you do.
From the cotton shirt you put on this morning to the eggs, bacon, and grits you had for breakfast, you're tied to Mississippi agriculture. The next construction or repair project you plan could include lumber grown, harvested, and finished right here in Mississippi.
When you really think about it, you're much closer to the farm families of Mississippi than you thought.
The Farm Families of Mississippi, growing and building Mississippi's future. Specialty crops grown by the Farm Families of Mississippi include many of the foods featured at a holiday gathering or a night of baking. Whether it's the sweet potato casserole with a crunchy pecan topping, the locally produced honey you put in your hot tea or cereal each morning, or the roasted ears of corn that make a cookout perfect, locally grown specialty crops add just the perfect touch. The Farm Families of Mississippi, growing the specialty crops you love. Being a farmer means a long day and an even longer list of jobs to be done.
When people ask me why I'm a farmer, the answer is easy. I want to be one of the people that provides your family and mine with a good, safe food supply. My animals are a large investment to me and my family. It makes good business sense that they're healthy and well cared for. And it's the right thing to do.
The Farm Families of Mississippi, feeding Mississippi and the world.
Getting our message out into the media is an expensive undertaking. Each year, we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on TV and radio time, plus billboards and other promotional activities. The funds are wisely spent, but we can always make a bigger impact with more contributions. So here's what you can do to help. First, show your appreciation to the organizations that have already joined as partners of Farm Families of Mississippi. Second, help us identify other organizations that could become a partner in this campaign. And third, consider becoming a partner yourself. All contributions are tax deductible. Whether it's a casual exchange with fellow patrons at the grocery store or an organized speaking engagement at a civic club, we as producers have a story to tell that won't otherwise be told if we don't join the conversation. Help the Farm Families of Mississippi promote agriculture. After all, the farmers of this state are actually growing Mississippi.
Stay tuned for highlights from the American Farm Bureau Convention in San Antonio and our Mississippi on the Menu feature right after these messages. The 95th annual meeting of the American Farm Bureau was held recently in San Antonio, Texas, home of the Alamo. Mississippi was well represented at the meeting with nearly 200 members attending. MFBF President Randy Knight accepted 4 national awards for excellence for Mississippi in the areas of public relations and communications, leadership development, member services, and education and outreach. One of the main issues discussed at the meeting was immigration and the need for a solution to the ag labor problem.
Even if you personally don't need a lot of ag labor, just imagine how it would feel to see your crop rot in the field. How it would feel to have a year's worth of work thrown away without any income because you could not find any help while Congress dithers and delays. Just imagine, we need to tell Congress to get this job done now.
The issue today with our domestic labor force, we have an untrained labor force because of the child labor laws. We're not able to learn how to work as a teenager. Migrant laborers come in and they know how to fix a fence, pick sweet potatoes, do the jobs that are necessary in the fields and farms of American farmers. And without having to pay a person exorbitant fees to get here to the United States, give them a green card that they can come in and work for a year, 6 months, and go back to their country. And they're willing to do that.
Mississippi was represented in 3 national contests. Matt and Carrie Edgar from Yazoo County competed in the Young Farmer and Ranchers Achievement Award contest. Matt said the Achievement Award is a vital part of the overall YF&R program.
mean, I think it's really important for the young farmers, especially the ones that have started from scratch or had to start their own operation this day and time and then build it up. It really, makes the young farmers proud of each other. And I mean, what we've seen through our state is we've met other people and they've kind of told us what they've done. And I mean, it gets everybody involved, and it's something to keep the YF&R program active. I mean, this is a big part of our YF&R program is this Achievement Award, and we're proud to be a part of it.
Reed and Kate Nevins of Lowndes County competed in the YF&R Excellence in Ag contest.
It's been great. We've enjoyed it. I think for us, we really had to sit down and re-examine what we did and to understand how we actually do promote agriculture, and I think it kind of opened our eyes to what more we can do and what more we can win in promoting agriculture every day.
Things we can do in the future mainly.
And finally, Brandy Carish of Oktibbeha County made it all the way to the Sweet 16 in the National Discussion Meet competition.
I felt it was a really good experience. I really enjoyed it. I got to meet producers and other young farmers from across the country and kind of learn about a little bit different operations and how they do things in different states. And I think we'll get to take a lot home from Mississippi for that.
She also had some advice for future competitors.
I'd probably tell them just to relax and enjoy yourself. It's something where people can get really worked up and really nervous, and it's fun to just sit back and hear what other people's viewpoints are and hear what they have to say. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it. You just have to remember that you knew what you studied and you know the answers. You just have to give it to them.
It's time for our Mississippi on the Menu segment with home economist Nancy Freeman.
Farm-grown freshness. Now, doesn't that just sound good? You can't beat it. We have a great farmers markets all throughout our state that you can enjoy locally grown produce that local farm families are growing for your families as well as theirs. Small acres, doesn't take a whole lot to grow some good, healthy fruits and vegetables to have for your family meals. In our season, since it goes from spring through fall, we get a large variety. We get everything from new potatoes, beans, and peas, all the way through sweet potatoes and a large variety of lettuces, greens, and so forth. That'll be just great. So I've got a little quick tip to show you today. This is squash cakes, one of my favorite things to make with lots of goodies that come from your local market. I've started with two types of squash. I've got zucchini and a yellow summer squash that I'm going to be using. To this, I'm going to add a little bit of chopped onions. I'm going to add some jalapeno peppers. And you can use all those fresh peppers that you find at your market are great. A little Parmesan cheese, a little bit of sharp cheddar cheese. We're going to use a little plain flour, some corn, and I highly recommend you getting fresh corn and just cutting it right off the cob. It is wonderful. And then we're going to add a little bit of olive oil to that. We're going to stir this up, and it's just that quick and simple. And you can do the squash. They are raw. You just run them right through your food processor, or you can just grate them on a hand grater, either one. They're both easy to do. We're going to heat up our skillets, and all you do at this point is you take a little bit of spoon, and we're going to drop it into a little bit of oil that we've got here that we're going to saute it. Pat it down just a little bit so that you get a nice even feel. And then after it's cooked a few minutes, we're going to go to this one that we've had cooking a little bit. And you just want to cook them till they just make a nice little brown edge around them. These are truly a delicious treat that you can have. And you can find this recipe and more about your local farmers markets at growingmississippi.org.
That's all the time we have for this edition of Voices of Agriculture. We hope you've enjoyed the show and will be with us again next time. For all of us here at the Mississippi Farm Bureau, thanks for watching.